Hello, welcome to the A to Z YouTube channel. I'm Toby Allen, the A in A to Z. I'm in charge of engineering and producing. Doing something a little bit different today because it's a lovely day today, and I just thought it would be nice to talk about the stuff that I was excited about or interested in from NAMM. So we're going to be talking about some of that and what I think of it, and I'd love to hear what you think as well. So make sure you put in the comments what you're most excited about from all the announcements from NAMM. I think it's safe to say that Evertune kind of won the NAMM announcements, as far as I'm concerned at least. Everton Bass, it's been teased for ages. There was a prototype in 2020 NAMM, apparently. I think they had the April Fool's joke where they were like, we got the Everton Bass out. And I said then that the real April Fool's joke will be the fact that it's not an April Fool's joke, that it's actually coming. So that was really cool. And arguably, bass is harder to keep in tune when playing than guitar is. It's quite common to use like Melodyne or whatever to tune bass after it's been recorded, whereas it's not so much with guitar. And because of that, that's one of the reasons why I tend to program bass, because it's a pain to try and keep it in tune and everything. So I'm really excited about that. On the way to preschool this morning, my daughter said she loves daffodils, so I thought I'd include some daffodils. And something else that I thought was really interesting is IK announced a new interface. It looks really, really good value for money, actually. I think it's like $130 or something like that. And it comes with a copy of Tonex as well, which is great value for money, because like the version of Tonex that comes with it is like $100 on its own. So that's really good. And it looks like it's got good converters and stuff on it. So I may end up picking that one up actually for like a portable interface to have on my laptop, which could be useful. Yeah, that's really. They've got some amps with Tonex logos on them at NAMM, but I didn't see any announcements about the Tonex amp. But that would be really cool if it had like a. I was gonna say for real speaker, FRFR speaker in them. That could be really, really cool. Having like the Tonex models being able to have in a little combo amp, that could be really nice for practice and stuff. But I don't know if that's what they've done, or whether that's an upcoming product, or what, or whether maybe they've just got some speakers and put Tonex logos, Tonex skins on them or something. But that caught my eye for sure. There's also the Jackson with new guitar for the guy from Suicide Silence. I can't remember his name, but it'll be on the screen. And that's really, really cool. I love the look of that. It's I love Jackson Road shapes. I love 7 strings. I love Floyd Rose. I mean, what's not to love? So that's really cool to see. It's also really cool to see Ruben found a new home in Ernie Ball. That's awesome. I think it's a really good fit as well. You think about like the kind of stuff he plays and the kind of guitars he's played previously. Like his Chapman guitars have been kind of like telly shapes and Strat shapes, and I feel like personally Ernie Ball is kind of like the next, like the modern version of Fender in some ways. They have a lot of that kind of single coil goodness, kind of stratty kind of stuff. So it'll be really exciting to see what Ruben does there. Hopefully he'll have a baritone signature as well, because you can't have too many baritones in the world. And speaking of Ruben, it's also really cool to see that he has another set of pickups with bare knuckle. He's got a set of 3 single coils. So it'll be really interesting to hear how they sound. Oh yeah, and speaking of Ernie Ball, there's the Tosin Abasi signatures. There's more of them. There's 6-string ones. I don't know what I think. I can't make my mind up. I think like they're really cool because they're original and there's not like another Strat or something. And I think Tosin's really good for that. You look at like the Abasi Concepts guitars, those are very original, very different to anything else. So that's really cool. They're kind of retro futurist, I think is the best way I would describe them. Kind of like what the future would look like if you drew it in the 80s. Does that make sense? I guess that's kind of what cyberpunk is. But I wouldn't call them cyberpunk, I'd just call them retro futurist. I don't know what I don't know where I'm going with this, but the white one I think is actually really cool. I'm a sucker for white guitars, so that shouldn't really be much of a surprise. But yeah, I think that's really exciting to see more original shapes coming out that aren't absolutely turd. And on that note, Dean has a new Kerry King signature, and yeah, that's. I try to keep things positive on this channel, but I don't have anything positive to say about that. The shape, the price, and the headstock. All I can say is, here we go again. It's a shame because back in the day, like Dean was always one of the brands I was most excited about. I think a lot of that was because of Dime and being a Pantera fan, and I had, like, back in the day, I was always dreaming about getting a Dean from Hell, the blue and black lightning one. I did try one once, and it was it was absolutely delicious. It was a Korean one, not a USA one, but you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter because the Korean stuff is fantastic. Anyway, yeah, that was a dream, and I loved it. And Dean kind of have gone off the rails a bit, I think. You know, they've got the thing that was going on with Gibson, and now the thing that's going on with the Dime estate, and it's all a bit messy. And I don't feel like they've done anything particularly great or exciting for a long time now, which is a real shame. And, you know, they've lost big artists like Dave Mustaine and Michelangelo Batio. They were kind of the biggest artists that they had, and they've gone. So it's a shame. And I think, like I said, if you look at the old school stuff that Dean used to do, like the Razorbacks and the MLs and stuff, you know, you might think, like, some people are going to say they're like totally cringy and over the top, but I think sometimes that's just what you need. Depending on the kind of music you're doing and the kind of band you're in, you want something over the top. And look at me, I'm playing guitar. Yeah, so that's kind of my hot take on Dean. I would love to see them kind of go back to their glory days. Maybe focus on some of the other shapes, like the Cadillacs and stuff like that, because I think those are really cool. And like the Cadillac it's like the Dean does Les Paul, and so, you know, that's one of their own shapes, and the ML is one of their own shapes. So that's one of the things they can still focus on. But, you know, if Kerry King likes it, that's fine, because that's all that matters, really. As long as he likes it, and as long as he's got some fans who will buy it, you know, they can't really knock it. So I guess that's the question: is anyone going to buy it? Ibanez kind of caught my eye as well, and never been particularly a huge fan of Ibanez. I think I've kind of made that pretty vocal. I do like the Iceman shape though, and that Paul Stanley mirror smashed Iceman looks really cool. So that's pretty awesome. And I'm not a huge fan of the Joe Satriani or Steve Vai signatures. Just they don't do it for me, but that's fair. You know, if they like them, that's all that matters, isn't it? If they've got fans who are going to buy them, that's all that matters. And I do like the fact that, and I'm going to pronounce her name wrong, Larry Bassalo has a signature, and that's really cool. It's really nice to see more female musicians getting acknowledgement in the scene, and I feel like there's still a great gap between how many men and how many women there are in the industry. So it's nice to see anything moving in that direction. And I actually really like her signature as well. It looks really cool. It's got kind of a slightly telly kind of thing going on, but slightly original. And it's really nice. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily buy one, but I think it looks really cool. And I really hope that she inspires more girls and women to pick up the instrument and, get their own signatures as well. And particularly since I've become a dad of a daughter, I'm quite passionate about there being more women in the industry. So that's really nice to see. So something that really caught my eye as well was Auto Align 2. I use Auto Align 1 all the time. It's like pretty much every song I engineer, Auto Align will be on there somewhere. Whether it's like aligning multiple guitar amps together, so if I'm using like a blend of tones, then this Auto Align can be really useful getting that right. When I'm setting up drums, it's really nice to help get alignment on, to check the phase and alignment on the overhead mics compared with the close mics. And if I'm using multiple mics on an acoustic, that's really good for that as well. So there's just, it's used all the time. I absolutely love it. So I'm really excited to see what Auto Line 2 does. The trailer, the kind of trailer video, whatever that Soundtronics put out, didn't give a huge amount away, but it looks like you can basically put it on every single track on an entire song, and we'll get all the phase sorted out and everything. So the phase relationship even between the guitars and the bass, for example, it looks like it works on that kind of thing as well. So it's going to be really cool to see how that maybe will save me a lot of time when it comes to engineering. So I'm very, very excited about that. I'm going to be grabbing the trial this week and giving it a try. I'm almost definitely going to buy it because it's just going to be so useful. I'm sure I'll be putting a video out explaining why I like it, because I'm pretty convinced I'm going to like it. So yeah, I mean, if I get the trial and I like it, then I'll no doubt be doing some kind of video on it, just explaining why I like it and how it's useful. I've got a couple of drum sessions that I did several years ago that were really bad. I've still got the files, so I might just try those and see if it will automatically fix the real severe problems I've got with the sessions. So that's what I'm really excited to try. That'll be the first thing I try out with it. There's also the pedals from Universal Audio. They look really cool. There's a delay reverb type thing, and there's a drive one, I think, as well. But the one I'm really interested in is the compressor, because it's got various different modes on it. So there's one that's kind of like an LA2A, which is really cool, and there's one that's like an 1176, which is awesome. So I feel like those will be really cool to use, like going into an amp, particularly on cleans and maybe on leads as well as it being really cool for bass, because I quite often like having an 1176 plug-in going after the bass but before the amp. So if I could do that out of the box, it was sick. And Dingwall battle pedal as well, that looks really cool. It doesn't look totally unreasonably priced. Dingwall can be quite pricey in their bases for sure. So this pedal, it's I think like 200 or 220 or something like that. So that's not unreasonable for a pedal at all. I think it's cool. Also, one thing that kind of interested me is Fishman have some pedals, and they are specifically geared towards acoustic guitar, which is awesome because you never see, or very rarely see, pedals that are geared specifically towards acoustics. I'll tell you something else I thought was really cool. It's nice to see that Ola has got a legit little booth. I mean, it's kind of like a semi-booth. He was saying that he kind of rented out part of a booth. But yeah, it's really cool to see that he'd got a presence, because I think previously he tended to just basically like turn up at the Neural or the Fortin booths. So Empirical Labs have made a 500 series distressor, essentially called the Pump, or the Little Pump, Pumping Bass. I don't know, it's called something. It looks really, really cool, and the pricing is insane compared to the big full rack version. So when I eventually start getting into 500, that'll be one of the first things I pick up, I think, because when I'm mixing or engineering drums, I just love a rouser on the kick and the snare. And I feel like if I could get that on the way in, analog, that'd be sick. So yeah, that's really cool. Very, very excited about that. So a quick word about how you can help out the channel. We love everyone of you who have been sticking around and watching our videos, and we would really appreciate if you would be able to help us out with our affiliate links. So the one we're highlighting this week is Bogan Digital. We are massive fans of their drum samples and their amp sims and their IRs, and we've been using them a lot on the channel, and because of that we're now able to offer a discount code exclusive. So if you use the code A to Z, that's AIIZ at the checkout, you can get a discount. And if you use the link below in the description, then we get a little kickback from that as well. It doesn't cost you any extra, and as I said, if you use our voucher, then you actually save something as well. Anyway, back to the video. And lastly, the ESP guitars look really, really cool. LTD is a brand that I'm a big fan of, and my LTD EX50 is one that gets used on the channel a lot. I've owned a couple of other LTDs as well, and they've all been really, really lovely guitars. So it's always exciting to see what LTD are up to. The one that got my eye the most was the Gary Holt one, for obvious reasons. Black and red, Floyd Rose. It's a V, the kind of Rhodesy V kind of shape to it. EMGs, you know, it's just ticks every box for me. It's like, mwah. I would love one of those. I believe it's a 24.75 inch scale length as well, which is quite unusual for the Arrow. It's quite unusual for anything from LTD that's not an EX shape or an EC shape. So that's really cool. Obviously seeing the Kirk Hammett signatures is really fun, and seeing the white James Hetfield signature, awesome, because you know, to me it just seems wrong to see James Hetfield playing a guitar that isn't white. James Hetfield playing white guitars is kind of where I started my obsession with white guitars. Not that I've got many, but I just love white guitars. You know, they look lovely, and they're kind of like ironic almost for metal, because black seems like it should be the right color. But anyway, yeah, that's really, really exciting. I'll show you some pictures here of some of the other ones that I really love the look of as well. Oh yeah, there's the Camo EC LTD, that looks lovely. So yeah, that's really cool. And that and that pretty much wraps up really for the NAMM React. I'm sorry for the kind of low quality of the video. We've been a lot of kind of crazy stuff going on. My office, my studio here has been kind of a state for the last month. It's not really been tidy enough for me to do any videos in, but it's pretty much sorted and back to normal again now. BP, Bloody Pineapples is kind of starting to calm down a little bit, so going to be able to be putting out some more content, and soon we've got I have a new pedal which I'm going to be doing a review of very, very soon. I'm really excited. It's a lovely, lovely pedal. Spoiler alert. And got a few other bits and pieces to going to be talking about. We've got some playthrough videos and music videos and stuff for Bloody Pineapples coming soon. We've got more demo videos. There's other products coming out. Obviously there's the Bloody Pineapples drum library, which will be coming out eventually. Lots of tons of stuff going to be, and feel free to, if you've got any suggestions or anything that you would love to see us address on the channel, then definitely leave a comment in the section below and let us know. If there's any questions you've got that you want us to answer, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, all the fun things that do the YouTube algorithm.